All right, assalamu alaikum, and welcome to another live show, the Mr. Islam Answers Back show. Well, we got another subject that we're going to be dealing with here, where we have to address Yasmine Mohammed once again. We addressed her several weeks ago when we had to deal with her claims about the, with hijab before, and here we are back at it again. So this time she has I saw this morning a new video, a little short video from her, and she has this new hashtag called Hijab is rape culture. Yeah, she actually has that. That's actually her hashtag. Hijab is rape culture. And as I talked about in the other video that we responded to her, when she was talking against the hijab, as I said, this is really more so about hating Islam and hatred against Muslims and bigotry. That, we talked about that in the other video. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you the clip from the little video that she made, and then we're going to proceed to respond to the utter BS that she's saying in that video. All right, so let us go ahead and get to that. All right, let's go ahead and do that right now. Let me get this set up for you. Okay, hold on a second. All right, so let's go ahead and hear what she has to say, right? And then we'll respond from there. Okay, here we go. Oops, excuse me, 1 second. All right, here we go. Let me scroll this down so you can see it, and then we will go ahead and hear what she has to say. All right, here we go. Hold on a second.
Hi guys, I wanted to talk to you about my hashtag hijab is rape culture. I'm not just saying that because I want to be controversial.
Stop right there. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You made this offensive, inflammatory hashtag because yes, you are trying to be controversial. Yes, you made it because you want to express your and see, like I told you guys, I don't call you, we have this term, Islamophobia. I don't call it Islamophobia, right? A phobia is an irrational fear of something. That's a phobia, right? Phobia is an irrational fear of something. This is not a phobia. This is not a fear that these people have. This is bigotry and hatred. Plain and simple. This is not a fear or that these people are expressing against Islam. So Islamophobia is not the proper term. Call it what it is. Call it hatred against Islam. Hatred and bigotry against Muslims. That's what this is. So yes, you did make it to be controversial. Yes, you did make it to express your continued hatred and bigotry for Islam and for Muslims. And we're going to expose that too. We're going to show, and like we did in the other video, we're going to show you that this is not really so much about women's rights and freedom and all this other bullshit that she talks about. This is about hatred and bigotry for Islam. And I'm going to show it just like I showed in the other video we did. We're going to show some comments from her that lets you see that this is about hatred and bigotry more so than it is that stuff about freedom for women and all that. That's just a cover. That's just a cover for the true agenda, which is hatred of Islam and Muslims. Okay, that's what this really is. So let's continue.
I am saying that because it's a fact, and it's a fact that will help people understand why we are fighting so strongly against it. Now, rape culture is identified by a culture that incorporates lots of different components. One of those components can be victim blaming. And another one is slut shaming. Hijab epitomizes.
All right, so let's address that right there. All right, let's address that right there. So, let's address that right there, okay? Let's go ahead and tackle that. All right, so here, check this out. So I went to this article here from Marshall University's Women's Center, right? So we can talk about rape culture. What is rape culture? They say rape culture is an environment in which rape is prevalent and in which sexual violence against women is normalized. Okay, that's not part of Islam. It's not part of Islam, right? Violence against women is not normalized. Rape is not prevalent, okay? And is excused in the media and popular culture. Okay, I'm not aware of any Muslim nations or Muslim dominant societies where rape and such is talked about and normalized in the media on a regular basis. Okay, I'm not aware of that even amongst Muslims in Western nations where Muslims are a part of this type of culture. Okay, it says rape culture is perpetuated through the use of misogynistic language, the objectification of women's bodies. Stop right there. Stop right there. Who does the most objectification of women's bodies, everybody? The people of whom she's trying to align herself with, which is what? European Western society. And when I say European Western, I'm talking about America, Canada, Australia, all of that. Those are all parts of European Western culture, because these nations are dominated by the descendants of people who are from Europe and who still have that type of mentality. Okay? Including South America as well. Places in South America, all of this. So these nations do the most objectification of women. Yet her whole agenda, allegedly, is for women to uncover, particularly Muslim women to uncover. But the uncovering is what, everybody? Who wants you to uncover? That's something that the West wants you to do, right? European, Anglo-Saxon, white, Western culture, that's their agenda. They want you to be uncovered. Why do they want you to be uncovered? Why are they so opposed to the covering of women, particularly Muslim women? Why? Because it is their agenda to what? To sexually objectify you. So in her idiocy, she doesn't see that in her claims to, she wants to liberate the Muslim women and promote the uncovering and all this so-called freedom, that this is really playing into the hands of those who do the sexual objectification of women more than anybody else. And that is in this Western culture that we live in. So for any Muslim sisters that are listening, and I'm sure the sisters will also make their own video responses as well, right? But for any sisters who may have any doubts about what's going on, don't be fooled by these claims of freedom and all that stuff. She's not really trying to free you, right? She's not really trying to free you. This is about making you assimilate to the way the West looks at their women, right? They don't want you to be covered. They want you to be uncovered. They want you to show a little something. Right? They want you to show a little something. They want you to be sexy and all these different things like that. But so they claim this about freedom and all that. But over and over again, studies continually show us that women in the West are sexually objectified. That means they just make you an object. And there are many studies that show that this sexual objectification of women is continuously harming women. Because women become more and more dissatisfied with their bodies, the way they look. They're not sexy enough. They're not happy with the way their shape is. They feel they got to have this kind of body. Why do you think, I talked about this in the other video, why do you think that so many want to get the surgeries, getting their breasts bigger, getting injections into their behinds to make their butts bigger, thighs bigger, more shapely, right? On the other side, you have people who feel that they're not good enough, they're too fat, so they starve themselves, or they throw up, bulimia, anorexia. Why are they suffering from these things? Yet they claim to be free. They claim to be liberated, right? As I said in the last video, they're not really free. It's a deception. The reality is that they're held prisoner to the standards of these so-called beauty standards. They're held prisoner by the objectification, where they feel they're not free because they feel like they're not pretty enough. They're not sexy enough. They don't look good enough. They're too fat, too skinny, too this, too that. Gotta have this, gotta have that to be sexy, to look good. So they're actually not liberated at all. So they don't even see how the hijab actually removes that, right? The hijab removes that. Because now you're not looked at for your body, or how sexy you are, or how big that is, or how big these are, or those are, or this and that, right? But no, she wants you out of their hijab. She wants you out of it. So that way now you can go ahead and be victim to being sexually objectified like the rest of these women are. So think about that, Muslim sisters. Think about that. That's what she wants, right? She wants you out of your hijab. So now you can go ahead and join the rest of the women that have to compete to look sexy and good and this and that and shapely and big boobs and small big booties and thighs and all that, and be curvy and sexy and all these different things, worrying about how you look this way or that way. So that's what it is. Is that really freedom? Is that really freedom? Are you really liberated like that? You see? So it goes on to say that it says that through the use of misogynistic language, the objectification of women's bodies, and the glamorization of sexual violence, thereby creating a society that disregards women's rights and safety. Like I said, that's Western civilization right there. That's Western civilization. Islam, Islam, especially Muslim countries, they're not putting no kind of garbage like that on TV, right? The Islamic society is very prudish, as they say. They're not putting that kind of stuff out into the public. Movies with sex in it, movies with sexual violence or whatever in it. They're not putting that kind of stuff out. So what the hell is she talking about? And yeah, and don't get me wrong, Muslim countries in the Middle East, they have their issues and their problems. Right? They got their issues and their problems. Like I said in the other video, nobody should be forced to wear hijab. Right? But don't try to come at us, with your claims of freedom and liberation of women and rape, especially now this charge here that this is rape culture, when the West is actually the rape culture. So yeah, as I say, you are being controversial in trying to claim that the hijab, I mean, come on, that's a very offensive statement. And you did that on purpose. You did that on purpose. That's an expression of your hatred for Islam and Muslims. There's no way in hell that you're going to sit here and try to tell us that hijab is rape culture. It's the exact opposite of it. Based upon what we just read here, hijab is taking that away. Hijab is not about objectifying the woman's body. Hijab is not about the glamorization of sex or sexual violence. It's not about disregarding women's rights either. Right? Now, if Arabs have a problem in their culture with disregarding women's rights, that's an issue they need to deal with. Because that's not what Islam teaches, right? That's not what Islam teaches. The Quran talks about the rights that the women have and the men and women have with each other. So if Arab nations have a problem with them disregarding what Islam gives of the rights of women, then that's their problem. Don't blame that on Islam, though. Talk about the Arab culture or something like that, but don't try to blame that on Islam, because Islam is the opposite of that. All right, so everything we read from what this article or this thing is saying is rape culture. That's Western culture to a T. That's Western culture to a T. The sexual objectification of women's bodies, glamorization of sex and sexual violence. That's the West. That's not hijab culture. That's Western culture, Miss Mohammed. Right? So let's go ahead and listen to the next part she's about to go into, where she's going to talk about a couple of these things, right? About slut shaming and all this, and we'll deal with that.
Rape culture. So hijab is victim blaming, of course, because it puts the onus on the woman.
Let's go back.
Those components can be victim blaming, and another one is slut shaming. Hijab epitomizes those two things, and those two things wrapped up.
All right, so let's talk about that. We talked about this in the last video as well, about these these things that they make up about the slut shaming and the victim shaming and whatever the case may be. Once again, Islam, like I said, now again, if Arab culture, if in Arab cultures they victim blame, then again, that's something that they need to deal with themselves. And of course, victim shaming is talked about here in the West as well, right? Victim shaming is talked about here in the West as well, that when women, accuse somebody of rape, they, a lot of times the society will victim shame. They'll use those arguments. What was she doing? What was she wearing? Why did she do this? Why did she do that? So, come on with this garbage about hijab, right? And then the slut shaming thing. Like I said, the slut shaming thing is something that these people, these feminists has made up, as a way to get away from the stigma of, of promiscuous, loose women. To try to, take off the stigma, act like, yeah, it's okay to be. Look, it's not good to be loose, man or woman. But see, they want to try to shape society's thinking to take off the stigma of that, right? Because there's always been a stigma attached to being a whore or a slut, sleeping around and all these kind of being a loose person. And like I said, I'm saying it's bad for both men and women, right? Do I have to give the reasons why it's bad? Sexually transmitted diseases, right? Illegitimate children, all these other problems that are faced mostly in Western society. But they want to take off the stigma of that. They want to take, they don't want to see, they feel guilty about what they do. So let's try to shape society to stop, looking down on people who are sexually promiscuous, sleeping around and all these different things. So let's call it slut shaming, right? You're slut shaming now. All that is just people who don't want to face the fact of this low degraded lifestyle that they want to live. So yeah, you're slut shaming. We're going to call it slut shaming. Don't remind them, don't make them face the reality of the low life that they're living. So you're slut shaming. So they want to try to make that, a negative now. That if you do that, that you're being negative. You're putting people down because they're sleeping around and having sex with, different people and spreading themselves around and all that, you know what I mean? So that's what that's really about. But that takes place right here in the West. That's not hijab culture. Hijab is not about blaming a person who got raped. Islam punishes rapists. Right? Islam is about protecting the women from rape, not blaming her for it. Again, I repeat, if Arab culture does that, that's not part of Islam. Islam punishes the rapist. Islam wants to protect the women from being raped and from rapists, not blame her for being raped. Okay? So, if you're going to continue to promote these false ideas, what can we say other than that the lies and the false information that you're spreading is just that, lies and false information, propaganda. Because Islam itself does not blame the victim. It wants to punish the perpetrator and protect the victims. It wants to protect women from these things. As far as hijab being slut shaming, no. See, again, these people are telling on themselves. They're telling on themselves when they claim this. How is hijab slut shaming? You know why she's claiming it's slut shaming? Because deep down they still feel low. They have low self-esteem about themselves in compared to the woman who covers up and dresses modestly. That's what the real problem is. That's what the real issue is. See, that's what the real issue is. So they call it slut. She's going to say, oh, hijab is slut shaming. No, it's not slut shaming. It's that you feel inadequate next to the Muslim woman who covers herself and dresses modestly. right? You feel low in your esteem because you want to show yourself and expose yourself and expose your body parts. And then when you see the Muslim woman dressed pretty and righteously and covered modestly, you feel a certain way about that. You feel less than. That's what this is really about. The hijab is definitely not slut shaming. It's definitely not about slut shaming. And look, again, that's the reality of the way it is, right? Even in the Western society, the woman who carries herself in a proper and modest fashion, even if they're not Muslims, people respect that, right? People respect that. And of course, when people see the woman who's dressed in, you know, the short mini skirt and you know, sexually seductive, she gets that type of attention. Look at prostitutes, right? Why do prostitutes, when they're trying to solicit people for action, why do they dress the way they dress? Why do they dress the way they dress? Right? Why do they dress the way they dress? Do you think she would get that kind of job and kind of action or attention if she was dressed like a nun or a Muslim woman? No, they dress like that because they know that's the way to get the attention, the kind of attention that they want. Right? They know that's how to get the kind of attention that they want, to excite the man's desires by doing what? By wearing the short mini skirt, by wearing the shirt or the top with, you know, with your cleavage exposed, something that accentuates the body. They know that's what excites that's how you get the attention of a man. That's his nature. He's attracted to that in his nature. So they dress like that to get that type of attention. So let's continue. Let's see what else she has to say.
Up together are considered rape culture. So hijab is victim blaming, of course, because it puts the onus on the woman that she needs to wear hijab and she needs to cover herself up to protect herself from the harassers instead of putting the onus on the harasser.
Okay, that's another lie as well. First of all, in Islam, it goes both ways. If you read the Quran also talks about men lowering their gaze. So it does put responsibility on men as well. It tells them to lower their gaze and to guard their modesty as well. So the Quran actually puts it on both the man and the woman. It tells the woman to dress modestly and to guard her chastity and lower her gaze. And it tells the men to do the same thing. So you're wrong. It puts the onus on both parties to be responsible. Right? Just like with your property. Why do I lock my car? Instead of saying, hey, people, just leave my car alone. Don't break in it. Don't steal my radio. Don't steal my car. So I'm going to leave my car unlocked. No, the onus is on both. I lock my car and make sure my valuables are protected, or I take them out and make sure they don't get stolen. I protect my car. But yeah, we also tell people in society that stealing is wrong, that you shouldn't steal cars. You shouldn't break into cars. Nonetheless, you still take your precautionary steps to protect yourself and your property nonetheless. Same thing with your house. Why do we lock our doors, lock our windows and stuff like that from our house? Why do people get security systems for their house? Instead of saying, you know what, I shouldn't have to do this. Let me just tell the people in my neighborhood, don't rob and steal from my house. No, how about both? Tell people, yeah, they shouldn't be robbing and stealing and you know, robbing and stealing from houses and breaking into houses, but also take your precautionary steps to protect your house, because the reality is this: not everybody listens. So you're being very naive if you think that, oh, it really should just be one side. Just tell people, no, really? Come on. Now, we know the world doesn't work like that. We know the world doesn't work like that. Yes, some people will take it and listen and won't steal or rob or rape or whatever the case may be. But we know there's an element of every society that just won't listen and will still do those things regardless. So you still have to take your precautions yourself to protect yourself. So in the Quran, it tells both the man and the woman to protect yourselves and guard your modesty. So it's not just putting it on the woman, it's putting it on both. putting it on both. So, again, lies about hijab.
And it is slut shaming because it clearly always identifies the covered woman as clean and pure and good and going to heaven versus the uncovered woman as dirty, free game, and is probably going to be hung by her hair and burning in hell. So I think it's really important that...
All right, let's stop right there. First of all, no, Islam does not say that if the women who don't cover themselves, non-Muslim women or whoever doesn't cover themselves, is free game. Come on, stop that BS. Cut it out. For real, cut it out. Islam does not say that, oh, the woman who isn't covered, she's free game. Come on now. Come on. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is this blatant hatred and bigotry for Islam that these people want to spread. Promoting BS like this. That Islam, oh yeah, if you're not covered, you're free game. Come on now. Come on, for real? Really? So Islam just says, okay, if you're not covered, women who aren't covered are free game. We can do what we want with them. We can just attack and ravage and sleep and you know, or take them and come on, really? Wow. But that's why I'm saying that this is really not about freedom and liberation. This is about trying to demonize Islam and an avenue for her and people like her to express their hatred and bigotry. That's all. That's what it really comes down to with these kind of lies like this. That's what it really comes down to. And it's shameful, man. It really is shameful.
That we understand the dangerousness of the hijab. Yes, it is a tool of patriarchy. It is a tool of misogyny. And of course there are, it stands for so many horrible and atrocious things.
Oh, come on, man. Come on. You see? Yeah, you see, that's all. Just listen to her talk herself and you'll see it. Oh, really? It stands for so many. Really? No, it stands for modesty. It represents a woman who is upright in her character. It represents a woman who is not an object of sex. That's what it represents. It doesn't represent a bunch of horrible things. No, these are the things that you guys make up yourself. But like I said, you notice she won't touch the idea of the sexual objectification in Western society, which uncovering is a tool, Miss Yasmine Mohammed. The uncovering of the woman is actually a tool of the sexual objectification of women in the West. And that's what she's inviting Muslim women to. Muslim women, that's what she's inviting you to. Sisters who are in other countries, that's what this person is inviting you to. She's inviting you and your societies to partake of the agenda of removing your covering so that you can start to move your society into also the sexual objectification of women. Uncovering of the woman is a tool of the sexual objectification of women agenda. And that's what she wants. So any sisters in Iran, if you ever see my video, please, this is what this is about. That's what she's trying to do. If any sisters in Saudi Arabia or in Egypt or in Algeria, in Tunisia, Somalia, Morocco, did I forget any places? Right? Afghanistan. I said Egypt, right? Palestine. And the various other Muslim countries. Nigeria, etc., right? Turkey, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Muslim sisters around the world and in Western countries as well. That's what this is about. Don't fall for this nonsense. Don't fall for this nonsense. This is actually a tool to use to get women to become the starting process, the first steps to sexual objectification. That's what this is about. You have to ask yourself, why does she want you to uncover? Why does she want you to uncover? The majority of Muslim women choose to wear the hijab. The majority of Muslim women around the world choose to wear the hijab. As I said in my other video, we don't support women being forced to wear the hijab. If you don't want to be a Muslim and you don't want to wear it, then go about your way. You shouldn't be forced to wear the hijab. But for women who want to wear it, leave them alone. Right? But that's part of the agenda, to get you uncovered. And this is something that, if you check history, the West has always done this, brothers and sisters. Check the history on when the West invaded, the Muslim nations. These are tools of their agenda. They wanted to get the women uncovered. You see? These were their ways of trying to destroy Muslim people and Muslim societies. They said, well, let's get the women, let's get her out of that hijab. Let's get them away from their, their beliefs, their teachings, etc. This was just one of their tools. This was one of their tools. Check the history. Tell me I'm wrong. So she's probably an agent. Like I told you, these people get money and funded, right? They get money and they get financed to promote this stuff like that. She's an agent. She's an agent of these people. This is just another modern attempt at trying to destroy the Muslim people ideologically, right? Break you down, get you out of your beliefs and your ideology, and take theirs, which is destructive. And then before you know it, you'll become sexual objects just like they are. You hear me, Muslim people and Muslim women, particularly around the world? That's what will happen to you. You think this is a good thing, and before you know it, you'll then be competing for bigger breasts and bigger butts and shapely thighs, and you'll start to feel that you don't look as good as the women on TV and the models in the magazines, and you'll start wanting to get surgeries and injections and butt implants and lip implants and all these different things so you could feel sexy and look good to compete with the standards that they in the West have made for women, because you're just an object here. You're just an object of sex and sexual glorification here in the West. And I have many articles that show that show this. Let's let her finish, and then we'll go into that.
Of subjugation, of dehumanization, etc., etc. But in and of itself, it is a disgusting, horrible thing for us to be supporting.
I mean, listen to this, man. Listen to this. Listen to how she describes it. How the hell is a woman who's covering herself modestly disgusting and horrible? Look at the adjectives that she uses to describe it. This is her hatred. I'm telling you, man. This is her. This is really an expression of her hatred for Islam and Muslims, because she couldn't stand strong as a Muslim and remain firm in the Muslim position over what the West was giving you, right? So because she was weak and she felt that, that the West, she couldn't be unique and stand firm as a Muslim, she wants you to join her. She wants you to join her in her weakness of giving in to the West and their ideology. That's what this is. She wants you to be weak like her and give in and succumb to the West and imitate them. But like I said, is it really better? Is it really better? Because the reality, like I said, I'm going to show you articles from the West on how Western scientists and social scientists and psychologists, etc., are talking about over and over and over again how in the West women are sexually objectified and how it affects women here in the West over and over again. But remember, she wants you to uncover yourself. Uncovering is supposedly freedom. We'll talk about it. But again, listen to the description. Listen to her words. Look how she describes it. Right? Really horrible, disgusting. Really, the hijab? Come on now. For real? For real, Yasmine? Really? No, that's just an expression of your hatred.
As feminists in a free Western society, or feminists anywhere, please support the feminists that are fighting against it. Thank you.
No, don't support these haters. Don't support these haters. Don't support these women bashers. No, don't support them. Okay? Don't support them at all. So, as I said, let's take a look at some of the articles that show that, the reality of what she's saying is really a bunch of nonsense. So here's an article right here. The effects of advertisement This is from a website called Science Direct. It says the effects of advertisements that sexually objectify women on state body dissatisfaction and judgments of women, the moderating roles of gender and internalization. So this article goes on and it talks about how, you know, because of the way the West advertises and uses women in advertisements and things like that, that women in society are just, they're not satisfied with themselves. You're held prisoner. You're not liberated. You're not liberated. This is a deceptive trick. Right? They use these words, but the reality is that you're not liberated. Your uncovering doesn't liberate you. It actually imprisons you now to a prison system of which you must compete to be the prettiest, the sexiest, the shapeliest. And if you can't reach those standards, now you think less of yourself. That's what these science and these psychological arguments, these articles are talking about. So you're not free. BS. She's BSing you. All right, another article. Another article, the objectification of women in advertising. Again, everybody, who puts women in their advertising? West. The West does. We know the Muslim countries don't do that, right? We know the Muslim countries aren't displaying women all over the TV and all these different things. So these obviously all these articles are referring to Western culture. All these articles are referring to Western culture. Because we know the Muslim countries don't do that, right? They're not putting women on TV in sexy dresses and shorts and bikinis and all this stuff like that, right? This is what the West does. So all these psychological studies and social studies shows that this is what's taking place in the so-called liberated West, where the women are supposedly liberated. Yeah. Meanwhile, article, study after study after study, you're objectified. Women are objectified. How advertising often treats women as a commodity. So yeah, everybody, join Yasmine and uncover. Go ahead, sisters in Iran. I'm being sarcastic. Yes, sisters in Iran, go ahead, join Yasmine and uncover so you can become a commodity also. Go ahead, sisters in Saudi Arabia, uncover so you can become a commodity. You know what a commodity is, an object, a thing, a sex thing. That's all you'll become, like the women in America and in the West. Come on. Women in Tunisia and Libya, in Somalia, women in Nigeria, women in Morocco. Come on, everybody. Come on, sisters. Uncover yourselves and join Yasmine and her friends so you can all become sexual objects just the same. I'm being sarcastic. I don't really mean that. But you get my point. Again, they themselves are telling you that this is a problem in their society. But she wants you to uncover talking about liberation and freedom. No, it's not. No, it's not. And I'm talking as somebody, as a man who grew up here in the West. So I can speak. I grew up here in the West. Right? We grew up seeing how women are sexually objectified. We grew up seeing how women have been turned into nothing but, something of a sexual pleasure for men. A plaything for men. Now I'm a Muslim. And Islam changed the way we think and view women and view each other, right? But again, look, they themselves, their own society is telling you that they have a problem. The uncovering of the woman is making her, it turned her into an object. And it's affecting the way the women view themselves. It's a problem. It's psychologically affecting them. And of course, it also affects men, they say. These articles, and some of them talk about how it affects men as well, because obviously the men are watching. So with the women, it makes the women feel that they got to be prettier, sexier, shapelier, bigger, bigger this, bigger that. For the men, it makes the men say, oh, it reinforces the idea of that the woman is for pleasure. That she's only good if she's sexy. She's only good if she looks this pretty or that good or has big this and big that. So it's affecting both men and the women. But notice what Islam says. Islam says what? To both the man and the woman, lower your gaze. Lower your looking at men and at women and men. And guard your modesty. Guard your chastity. See? But this sexual objectification here affects the man and the woman. It makes the woman feel like she's not good enough because if she's not sexy or pretty or shapely or has this nice body. And it affects men by showing, by pushing harder the idea that, yeah, the woman is only good for this. She's only good if she's, if she looks pretty and sexy and has big that and big this and whatever. If she doesn't have that, well, look away. If she's a little bit overweight, she doesn't look as shapely, pay her no mind. Pay her no mind. You don't want that, men. You don't want that. You want the sexy girl. Forget about this. Forget about the girl. Even though the girl who may not be as pretty or shapely, she may be a great person personality-wise. But ignore that because society says, no, it's this. You want the sexy one. You want the sexy one, the pretty one, the really good-looking one, the really one with the nice body. So you guys go ahead and fall for that foolishness if you want to. But really, man, this claim that hijab is rape culture, I mean, like, wow. You know what I mean? Wow. I mean, really, really wow. Really, wow. That's all I can say is wow. I can't say even think of words to express of it because it's just such a blatant, a blatant show and expression of hatred and bigotry to claim that hijab, which is supposed to be about a woman covering herself in modesty and carrying herself as a classy woman, could be said, oh, it's rape culture. But like I said, this is about bigotry. Look, let me get to that. Let's get to that. Here is a text or a tweet from Yasmine. Let's read it. What does it say? In our next podcast, we agree that Islam is worse than Nazism. Really? See that right there? Notice she didn't say extremist Islam. See that? No, this is what I'm saying about you people, about them. See? They hate all of Islam. See? When you let them really express themselves, they will expose what they're really thinking. Notice she didn't say, oh, I'm only talking about ISIS. I'm only talking about the terror. No, she said Islam. Islam as a whole. See? There you go. Now the truth is being exposed. She's not just against, terrorists. She's not against extremists. She's not just against women being forced to wear hijab. She's against all Islam. That expression right there proves it. Islam itself, the whole thing, everybody, is worse than Nazism. See that? So that means all of us, everybody, all of us, even if we're not terrorists, even if we condemn the terrorists, even if we're against ISIS and Al-Qaeda and all of that, but we're all Nazis. We're worse than Nazis, according to her. But we know that's a bunch of BS. The reality is that Nazism is what's worse. Western white supremacy is what's worse. Islam goes nowhere close to what these people have done and are doing. But that right there is, she's expressing her hatred when she says something like that. Islam is worse than Nazism. Really? Then why is it that Nazism was the one that dominated? If Islam is worse, why is it that the Nazis were the ones that dominated? Right? The Nazis were the ones invading Africa and the Middle East and subjugating countries that had Muslims in it. So if Islam is worse, then why did the Muslims were the ones who got subjugated and dominated? If Islam is worse, why is it that it's the Western countries, even if they're not Nazis, that have invaded Muslim countries and subjugated the Muslims, if Islam is worse? Right? The Muslims were the ones subjected to Nazism. The Muslims were the ones subjected to other forms of racism, white supremacy. Whether it was by America or the British or the French or the Italians. Have you forgotten this stuff, Miss Mohammed? Have you forgotten this stuff, Yasmine? My point is that if Islam is worse, then why is it that Muslims were the ones that were subjugated by white Western supremacists? Clearly, if they couldn't be the worst then, right? Clearly, the Muslims' Islam can't be the worst if the Muslims' Islam is the ones that was dominated by Western invaders who subjugated them to what? White racism. So, these people aren't telling the truth. They're not dealing with reality. They're not dealing with the facts. Okay? So she says, in our next podcast, we agree that Islam is worse than Nazism. Lefties think because it's a white ideology, it must be worse. Guess again. No, don't guess again. Don't guess again. Nazism is worse, and all forms of Western racist white supremacy are the worst that this world has ever seen. It's worse. It's the worst because it too has dominated and subjugated and mistreated Muslims in their own countries and their lands. So to hell with the idea that Islam is worse. No, the worst is what we have been seeing going on for the last several hundred years. And that is the ideology of Western white supremacy. That is the worst. All right, so. What's this, bro? She didn't. She doesn't. House Muslim. Yeah, there you go, Muhammad Zaki. Yeah, there you go. She's a house Muslim. Not even that the right, because she's an ex-Muslim, really. She's really an ex-Muslim. Yeah, she's an ex-Muslim. You know what I mean? But yeah, I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying. Yeah, you know. Yeah, right. She's like the equivalent of, right. That's a good analogy, right? She's like the equivalent of what Malcolm X called the house Negro. For those who don't understand, basically, you know, this is like a sellout. The house Negro was a sellout, basically. It's just another way to describe a person who's a sellout, a traitor to their people, and that's basically what she is, right? Because she's, you know, she's of Middle Eastern descent or whatever. You know, used to be a Muslim, so now she's joined in with the white Western supremacist ideology against her own former people, right? So that's what it really comes down to, man. That's what it really comes down to, you know. That's what it really comes down to. You know what I'm saying? So, you know. Before I go ahead and end the video, let me just say one, as I always say, that you know, again, you know, if you appreciate the work that your brother Mr. Islam Answers Back does, I would appreciate your support. You know, support our platform. As I said, these people are funded. These people are funded. I'm sure she gets funding and sponsorship to continue to promote her anti-Muslim, anti-Islamic ideology. And in order for us to be able to, you know, counter these people with a great deal of effort, we need your support just the same. All right? We need your support just the same. So you can support us by, like I always say, the links in the description of this video. You can make donations through our website. You can go to our the PayPal donation. You can make a donation through there. You could help us and support us through what's that thing? Through my Patreon. But speaking on the Patreon, let me show you something. Last show that I did, one of the brothers told us about David Wood, right? About David Wood and his thing, right? So let me show you something about that. I mean, he wasn't wrong. You know, he was right. So look. I've been asking to get more Patreons, right? You guys see, this is David Wood's Patreon right here. So I've been promoting my Patreon for the last several months, right? I've been promoting for the last several months. As I said, Patreon is a way that you can sponsor people who promote the agenda that you agree with, right? So it's a way for you to help sponsor people to continue to do the work that they do in the field that they do. This is David Wood's Patreon. So these people are the people who are supporting what David Wood does to help him make more videos, help him promote anti-Islamic, whatever he does, right? Look at his support. Look at his support. That means people are behind him. They believe in what he's doing, and look, they're supporting him. They're helping him to fund him and sponsor him, do what he needs to do to continue to promote his anti-Islamic, anti-Muslim message. Look at that, right? Now look at your brother Shadid. Look at your brother Shadid now, right? That's David Wood. Look at your brother Shadid. Look at your brother Shadid. Do y'all see it? You see the difference? Do you see the difference? Now, I'm happy for the one supporter that I have. MashaAllah. As I said last week, I'm not ungrateful for it. MashaAllah, I got one person who supports me. But again, many people, a lot of times people be asking me, hey, you know, David Wood, make a response to David Wood. And I've done it. If you look on my YouTube channel, I have many responses to David Wood videos. And I did it, you know, without anybody, you know, having to tell me or, you know, any sponsorship at all. And I'll continue to do that. But like I said, a lot of brothers and sisters sometimes send me messages and be like, hey, bro, respond to David Wood. Respond to David Wood. Okay, cool. Like I said, I don't mind doing it, and I've done it already. But I want you to just think about this. Look at my Patreon. And you want me to respond to David Wood, no problem. And then look at David Wood's. Look at his Patreon. Right? Look at his Patreon. So you want me to respond to him. You want me to answer him. You want me to refute him. You want me to debate him and all these different things. But look at the support that he gets compared to what I'm getting. And I've asked several times, brothers and sisters, please. I'm trying to get 5 right now. For the last several weeks, months, I've been asking, can I get at least 5 people to join up? Right now, that's a start. Just 5. Right? I'm not even asking, well, if I can get 700 people to sign up right now, that'd be beautiful, mashallah. But right now, I'm trying to take it, little by little. I understand you got to grow step by step. So I'm saying, look, can I get 5 people? Can I get 5 patrons right now? Just 5 people. And then, inshallah, we'll build it to 10. And then we'll go to 20. And then 50. And then, inshallah, 100. Then 500. Then, inshallah, 1,000. Whatever. We keep growing. But right now, I've been asking just for 5 people. Look at David Wood, man. And my point is that, look, his people put their support behind him. I was reading in the comments, right? I was reading on the comments where, some of the people were making comments, talking about him, and they really believe in his message. They really believe in him. They was, one guy was upset, kind of upset because he could only donate $20. He said, look, man, I can only give you $20. Right? I can only give you $20 right now. And he was saying it like he was sad that he couldn't give more. He was sad because he couldn't give more. He was like, look, I can only do $20 right now. I'm like, wow, $20? That's great. But he was like, he obviously wanted to give more. He's like, I can only do 20, David. Or was that, wait, let me see. That might have been another one. I also checked out Sam Shimon also. He has less, but he still got more than me. Right? So what I'm saying is, brothers and sisters, look. We do this for the pleasure of Allah, no doubt. But, do you know that you can give zakat towards people who do dawah? You know that, right? It's part of zakat that you can actually give it to people who are involved in doing dawah work. You can give sadaqah to people who are doing dawah work. It's acceptable. You get rewarded for that. You get rewarded for that. So what I'm saying is that, yes, and why is that? Because obviously, even back in the times of the Prophet, it takes sponsorship. It takes funding to do dawah. You got to travel. And if I'm involved in the work of doing dawah, I still got to eat, right? I still got to eat. I still got, to keep my house, my home paid for, right? So that, it's permissible to give to people who do dawah because they still got to eat. They still got to pay the bills and take care of their families, even though they're doing the work like that. So Allah made it permissible for you to give your zakat or your sadaqah, your charity, to the people who are involved in doing dawah, so they can concentrate on the efforts of doing that. So I'm saying, come on, brothers and sisters, this can't be right. Look how much he had, and look, he got 782 people. I've been trying to get 5 people just for the last several months, just 5 people. That's all I'm asking right now. Can I get 5 people to support? 5 right now, just 5 people. Just let me get 5 right now. And then, like I said, later, inshallah, we'll jump, we'll go for 10. And then 20 and 50, 100, 500, whatever. But right now, I just want 5 patrons to support. Like I said, Patreon allows people to support whoever, the person that they support on a regular basis. On a monthly basis. So basically, you're making a pledge to sponsor that person on a monthly basis. That way, you don't have to make random donations here and there. You just can do it once a month, right? Whatever amount you want, what specific amount you want to give at, and you can sponsor the person who is supporting the agenda that you believe in. As you see, the people believe in David Wood. Then, I don't know, because people say that they appreciate the work I'm doing. I get messages because I was going to say, well, maybe the Muslims don't like what I'm doing. Maybe I'm not really making an impact. I don't know. But then again, like I said, I get messages from Muslims all the time saying that they appreciate the work that I've done. They appreciate that, I help them stay Muslim. They like the way I refuted David Wood on this video, or I refuted this thing or that. And a lot of people have said that they, that I helped them, mashallah. All praise is due to Allah. They said I helped them, because they were getting ready to give up on Islam. They were getting ready to leave Islam. Then they said that I saw your video, Brother Shadid. I saw your video and you helped me. I remained a Muslim because you refuted something. Right? You refuted something that David Wood said. You responded to this video or that video. I was getting ready to leave Islam, but then I saw your video and mashallah, you helped me stay a Muslim. I said, all praise is due to Allah. So it can't be that the Muslims don't support me or believe in me. So what is it? What is the issue then? Right? What is it? Or maybe I do have support, but it's so small that is that it? That maybe I don't have enough support. I'm not, I don't have a large amount of support. Because I'm really been trying to figure it out. I'm like, wow, this guy has 700 and something people on his supporting him. I only got one. And again, may Allah reward the one brother who's supporting me. It's a brother. I don't want to mention his name because, people want to keep the charity, to themselves. But mashallah for that one brother who supported me. But where's the others at? Where's the others at, inshallah? I need your help. For real, I need your help. I need your help. If you want me to compete with the likes of David Wood and all these others, I need your help. I need the Yasmines. I tell you, I'm guarantee you somebody's paying for her to promote this message. I showed you guys the article before about, how these people are, donating millions of dollars towards the anti-Islamic message, right? There are people with a lot of money out there who sponsor people like Yasmine and the David Woods and the others to promote an anti-Islamic agenda. They're being funded. Because it costs money, right? It costs money, like you say, when people advertise, it costs money to advertise. Well, that's a type of advertisement. Even though they're not selling a product, they're still advertising a certain message, and that message is against Islam. So in order to compete, what do? You got to advertise too. You got to advertise your message to counter their message. So if we want to sell our message out there, we need to sponsor the work. So again, I'm grateful for the one person that I have. I'm just asking for more support. Right now, I just want 5 people. So really, all I need is 4 more people to join up. 4 more people. I got 1 already. All I need is 4 more people to reach my goal of 5. My goal is 5 people right now. And then, like I said, then we'll take it further and further and further and further and see if we can, match or catch up to David Wood, inshallah. All right? So, just my little rant on that, Oh, but you know what? Yeah, let me show you another too. I wanted to show you another anti-Islamist, Sam Shimon. Now, of course, he has way less than David. He has 33. He doesn't show his amount because the thing allows you to do that too. But he still got more than me. I'm trying to get 5. He still has more than me, right? The people who are known for preaching against Islam, they have. Look, they got more support. And yeah, you know what? It was Sam. It was somebody on Sam's page that was talking about. Let me see. I think it was somebody on his page. Let me see. Where is it at? Hold on a second. Let me show it to you here. It was this guy right here. You see this guy on the page right here, John Cowell. Look what he says. Says, Sam, I saw your video with CP. I hope and pray things are getting better. I am able to send $20 each month right now and would like to be able to send more. See that? He wants to send more. He can only send 20 right now. He wish he could send more. I know it's not much, but if everyone sends a little, maybe we can make a difference. Yeah, Muslims. If everyone can give a little something, maybe we too could make a difference against this onslaught of anti-Islamic propaganda. So, yeah, same thing he said, except in reverse. If everyone sends a little, maybe we too, as Muslims, as your brother, Mr. Islam Answers Back, maybe I too can make a difference, inshallah. So look at his sincerity. Look at I'm not putting him down. Look at his sincerity. He wish he could send more. I'm only able to send 20 right now and would like to be able to send more. You could hear the sincerity in his text or his message to Sam. I'm asking for the same thing from Muslims. I'm asking for the same thing. If you say you believe in me, then support the work that I do, please. Support your brother. And of course, you know, as a Muslim, you get rewarded. You get rewarded for what you do. You get rewarded for what you give. You know, the Prophet said you get tenfold back, right? Whatever you give, you get tenfold back, inshallah, of what you donated. And you get the reward as well. You get the reward that I'm putting forward in refuting these people, in countering their lies against Islam. You get the reward of that because you helped sponsor and support the person who was refuting the lies. So I get the reward and you get the reward too. You get double because you get the reward of that I get for putting it out because you helped me get it out there, and you get the reward for your donation and your sponsorship. So I'm just asking for your help, brothers and sisters, please. All right, just asking for your help. Again, let me say, like I said, I hope I don't sound ungrateful. I'm not ungrateful. I'm just saying that we need the support. That's it. I'm very grateful for the one Patreon that I have. And people have donated over the months. You know, there have been people who donated, you know, individual donations here and there. I appreciate that too. May Allah reward those people who have done that, you know, some months ago. There have been people who, you know, every once in a while somebody might send something through. MashaAllah. May Allah reward you. And that's great. But we need something on a more consistent basis. So as I said, I'm just asking for 5. I'm just asking for 5 people to support your brother, right? I'm just asking for 5 people to support your brother, and you know, I would appreciate that, okay? And may Allah reward you. May Allah reward you. Yeah, it allows you to do that. What I think it does is, it may, like, I guess if you, I'm not sure how it works exactly, but you know, you basically you know, sign up to be a patron. You pledge the amount that you want to give. I think they maybe you give, you know, you put your credit card or your bank or whatever. You know, it's all secure. It's all safe and secure. The site is very trustworthy. You know what I mean? So they make sure they keep all your information safe. And then it'll just, every month, you know, it'll I think you probably, or you can set it up to do it automatically. So I think you can set it up to automatically donate to you, or they'll just send you a reminder that, you know, don't forget to make your pledge, your donation. So so you can do it either way. And then it will automatically you know, it would automatically do it like that. You know what I'm saying? So you can do it either way, like that. Well, Omar, if you want to do it that way, do you have my let me see, how can we let's see. Do you have my email? Do you have my email? If you want to do something that way, I could give you my email, and then you could just do it like that through the email, inshallah. So yeah, if you want to do it that way, you just email me, and then we can talk in private, and I'll put you up on where you can do that. You know what I'm saying? So all right. Okay. No. All right. Here, I'm gonna give you the email right here. I'll type it for you right here. Okay. So my email is bro_Shadid at hotmail.com. All right, that's my email right there. So if you wanna talk about, you know, sending it that way, then send me an email. Let me know, is that your name? If your email name is different from the name you have on the screen, then make sure when you send me the email, make sure you let me know that's you. All right, say, hey, this is Umar Mujahid, excuse me. All right, well, yeah, that's it right there. That's my email right there. Send me an email. Make sure you let me know it's you, and that way then we can talk, and I'll let you know where, if you want to send it through check or money order, how we can make that arrangement, inshallah. All right. Okay. So once again, like I said, I appreciate any brothers and sisters who have joined. Somebody said that my Patreon thing went up just now, so that's great, mashallah. Appreciate those who do it. And anybody who watches this video later, after the live stream, and you decide to join, I'll say it ahead of time. I thank you, and may Allah reward you greatly. May, as the Prophet said, you get tenfold back. You know, may you get tenfold back of whatever you donate. As the Prophet said, what happens when you donate. So, you know, I appreciate that. And then lastly, just remember, to any sisters who watch this, I pray. Matter of fact, yeah, share this video too. When you get a chance, Share this video. If you live in other countries, share it, because I want sisters in other countries to share it. If it needs to be translated, I give you permission to translate it in your language, so that way the sisters in other countries can hear this message and not be tricked into this deceptive and evil agenda and evil plot to unclothe the Muslim women and get her into this agenda of which is nothing more than an attempt to turn you into a sexual object here in the West. So like I said, if anybody watches this and you're in another country, you're in Iran, you're in Saudi, or Malaysia, Indonesia, Algeria, whatever, I give you permission to translate this video so the sisters in your country can hear this message and not fall for the trick of this Yasmine and these others who are trying to, promote their anti-Islamic agenda and try to get the Muslim women uncovered so they can be turned into the sexual objects like they are here in the West. All right? All right. No, my name is not right. Okay, well then, like I said, so when you send it, just make sure you let me know that it's you, and then I'll give you the information that you can, if you want to send a money order or a check from there, inshallah. All right. I thank you all for watching and checking out the show. Like I said, spread it around, share the video, and again, please join the Patreon. Like I said, my goal is 5 people right now. My goal is just 5 people, and then inshallah, once we get 5, then we can make it 10, and we'll just go from there. Okay. May Allah reward you. Appreciate you guys watching. I love you all for the fi sabilillah. Take care. Have a good day.